scared. I don't know what's... Actually, I do know what's in this box. So anyway, welcome to Greenfire Games unboxing video. This isn't what we're unboxing today. This is actually a game I already owned that I'm hoping we can live stream maybe a few matches of eventually. But this is Cthulhu Wars, which was a big deal when it first came out. It's still kind of a big deal. It's a Sandy Petersen game. Man who worked on Doom, Quake. Big Cthulhu fan. I think, Mike, you determined that he clearly has a thing for eyes on stalks.
Yes.
Which, I mean, this game clearly, at a first glance, has going for it.
He has an affinity for the aberrant.
There you go. Man, I have to lie down after that statement. It's too much. So anyway, I just wanted to go show this. This is the box for the core game. You can buy right now. Now this is the box they sent me yesterday with all of my Kickstarter stuff in it. As you can see, it's quite large. Too big to fit in there. So we're going to crack this open, take a look at all the stuff, because I completely forgot what I got in the box for this. I did not go nuts and do the $800 Kickstarter. That was a little too much. So, yeah. And the nice thing is, if you own cats, they will have a fort to play in afterwards, if you ordered those. Oh, look! A box within a box.
It's one box.
Oh, wait, there's another box. Ooh, what do you think's in here?
That's Kuwait.
Ooh, spooky. Get the nice Petersen games. I like their logo. It's just a guy getting attacked by a giant mantis.
Yeah.
I don't know what it symbolizes, but man, it's scary.
I think it symbolizes a man's struggle against beasts.
Another box.
What do you ask? 4 boxes?
Another box. A long box.
Alright.
A smaller box.
Alright. A manifest?
A manifest? Oh, no, keep that hidden. I don't want to know what I'm getting. Actually, nice little advertisement for the Pathfinder supplement that Sandy Petersen also made that puts things like sanity, all the monsters, and everything from the Cthulhu mythos into Pathfinder.
Does it also have it set in the 1920s, or is it just adding this stuff into a
It's adding that stuff into a fantasy setting as far as I understand.
Okay.
The first game ever to bring H.P. Lovecraft's work to the gaming world. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's not true.
He is the undisputed authority on the Cthulhu mythos and games. Oh, he was actually the he's actually the author of Call of Cthulhu. Okay, all right, never mind. He's right. Oh look, even more in the back. Oh, Orcs Must Die, another game. That's actually pretty fun.
That's the tower defense game.
Yeah, the PC game was a lot of fun.
I loved it.
I lost an entire weekend obsessed with that game. All right. So now, man, I don't know where to start. We'll open the mystery boxes. What do you think, everyone? Should we open the mystery boxes now?
Well,
or
they
later?
have numbers on them, so maybe we start with the lowest number and work our way up.
Well, here let's do these first. I'm very curious what's in. So that's CW Glow 2. I think these are the glow in the dark minis. Well, here, we'll go with let's open up the little box. CWE 14. Oh, I forgot. Special dice. Because Cthulhu Wars with combat, it works off of, at least I think, actually, I don't know if these are the right kind of dice. All I know is I see all the different symbols, because you got the king and yellow symbol, the elder sign and stuff. So I don't know if any of the new factions might add something new. So I don't know why this has an 8 on it in this particular dice. This is a 6-sided die, right?
Yes,
I ain't crazy.
Well, that's part of the game.
That's true. All right, let's. Ooh, it sounds like it's full of candy. I hope there's something in here delicious. Oh, and actually, these are the combat dice, so those must be something different. Wow. They didn't skimp on dice. Because normally in the game, you just get.
This die goes from 3 to 8.
Okay, so that must have something to do with one of the new factions. Because every faction plays incredibly differently. So I'm very curious to see what the other ones do. But these are the regular extra combat dice they give you, because this game, 5 and 6 is what you want. 6 is a kill. I think 4 and 5 is a wound.
Those look like they're made by Q Workshop.
I wouldn't be surprised. Sandy Petersen Games doesn't really skimp on details. But very nice to have some specific dice. So no candy. Guess I'll deal with that. Let's open it. What's that? What's in this box? Ah, right.
It's like it just keeps vomiting information out.
Okay.
I was like, it's Mary Poppins thing. Or Bob.
This is actually really cool because one of the key things they did with Onslaught 2, which was they called the second Kickstarter, they revamped all the core box factions, and they give you new. These are actually nicer than what comes in the box.
So it's both an expansion and an update on the game.
Yes, because they tweaked it and balanced it, and they add in cards for because there are actually separate old ones that don't affiliate with any particular faction. I actually own some of them. I should probably bring some of them in. So this is kind of neat. People coming into the game, they updated it. And they even made some nicer. The Doom track helps determine the point value. All the different. Wow, they really gave you everything. Jeez. Bear with me. I'm figuring this out as we go. Oh, and they updated some of the new magic cards because these are abilities. And oh, they even have abilities for the. Jeez, you can mummify people. Sorry, I'm just taking it in. There's a lot of information here. So they updated some of the cards for some of the different abilities, and you get all sorts of the different tracks depending on the player. There's a lot of mechanics in the game that are dependent on how many players you have in the game at the time. So these are a little better quality than what came in the core box, which is nice. Because I think one of mine already got ripped. Savages. Neat little tokens. I don't know what these are for. They might actually, because they're big enough for the Doom track. Because originally, they would have these little tiny things that, yeah, I guess they looked like turds for the most part. They did. I'll show them off later. But now they have actual tokens that help you denote who's ahead in points. Because the game works on you gain Doom points for different actions you achieve. When you get to 30, the game's over. And then it's a race to see who accumulated the most. So they definitely up.
Game's over at 30, but the track goes up to 46.
Because depending on stuff you've done, like gaining different tokens and different actions, you can gain even more points.
Okay.
Because the yellow King in Yellow, his faction is more of a late game faction.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
that makes sense.
gain a lot at first, but then at the end of the game, I've almost won just based on stuff I had accumulated towards the end. Other stuff. Kuwait. What is in the Kuwait? What the?
I think what we should do is we'll show everything as is now,
Yeah.
and then move the camera. To show all
Yeah,
of the miniatures.
yeah, because these are already pretty gross looking. Guy looks like he should be in Rune Wars. I think these are the High Cultists.
Wow, this guy is...
Oh wait, I think this might actually be because I think they unlocked where you can have your own homebrew faction, so you can actually make your own
Oh.
and put them in the game, and they gave you miniatures to kind of.
That is what those are.
Okay.
08 is homebrew faction.
Okay. Yeah. I said they kept accumulating. Oh, and to give people an idea, these are the turds. This is what they originally used to denote the Doom, and everyone just referred to them as turds. I think there was a much more terrifying name for them, but yeah.
You get another.
And then you get another token for your homebrew faction. So yeah, it's cool. Jeez. All right. All right, we're going deeper. Scoot those to the side. So what these are, a big part of the game is controlling gates. That allows you to summon in. These are special gates for each individual faction that have special rules to them. This is a new part of the game.
It's a very colorful game for what it's about.
I mean, you gotta make sure you got a lot of crap on the field. You gotta make sure you know who's who. I mean, I like playing as King in Yellow personally, but Yeah, so these are going to be really interesting because they kind of change up the game as far as controlling gates. I don't know the exact rules yet because I kind of forgot I was getting this. As I said, the boxes appeared at my house yesterday. And I forgot I ordered stuff, so we'll keep those to the side.
That's how any good item revolving the great old ones works. It just appears.
Yeah, that's why I kind of... I feel bad because my mom actually opened it first. I'm like, man, what if it turned out to have like some weird Cthulhu stuff in there? Like weird like Peterson Games decided to include like a squid in there. All right.
What number is this one?
I don't know.
That's the box with more boxes.
Oh, these are the glow-in-the-dark miniatures. So these are really cool. Well, of course, like we said, we'll bring them down, but they actually made glow-in-the-dark miniatures for all of the factions.
Is that red one a displacer hog?
This is actually Shub.
Shub.
Shub McGrath. And that is fucking gross. Actually, I think this is Nyarlathotep. I think they just redid his sculpt. My personal favorite, because he reminds me of the giant floating heads from Rick and Morty.
What's that one's name?
Stir. And it's funny, he has an ability where if you say his name, like the ability is he shows up anywhere on the map where a cultist supposedly said his name. So we usually have someone yell, "Show me what you got," when he just kind of shows up.
There you go.
Adds a lot of fun to the game. I have no idea what this is.
Oh, that's gross.
This is so gross looking. So yeah, some neat glow-in-the-dark miniatures.
Looks like somebody fused together a chameleon and a feeding.
You know what these remind me of? You ever go to the zoo or the museum and they have those
the little wax things.
yeah, little wax things? If I got this out of a wax thing, I would be more screwed up than I am
Especially
now.
when the display is like a lion.
Exactly. Like, Mom, what is this?
That might be just a Chicago thing.
Because nobody knows, like, if you talk to people about it, like, nobody knows.
So,
Yeah, like,
oh wait, guys, more boxes. More boxes. Oh, and we got.
All the little crevices to get hidden into.
I don't know what these are, but I think you can actually treat. I think you can actually treat any of these characters as independent old ones now. So that definitely, wow. You know, the game is pretty simple starting off. Now I think it's going to be even more crazy. Some tokens. I'm going to need to see about ordering that 8-player map now. What's in this box? Ooh, it's Ithaqua, I believe. That's the one of the new great old ones, and King in Yellow. He still has his nicely sculpted rear. This one's actually a little more sturdier than the one that came in the core box. Is my one in the box is like bent forward, where it looks like he's like looming at you. So neat. I'm assuming this might be another. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about storing this now.
They go on shelves.
That's true. Oh, there's Nyarlathotep. So, yeah, now I'm really confused about who this is. I mean, they do look like distant cousins, right? It's okay, geez. It's not like this is a really important video. Pokemon's going on. Kids need their cards, man. So that was another box down. Okay. So now we go into some of the actual expansions. No more mysteries. Because, like any good game, this one is looking on to expand the core game. This is the High Priest expansion. So what these are because priests are kind of your main line in the game. Use them for sacrifice, use them for claiming territory. High Priests actually add a different rule to them.
Okay.
You get one High Priest per faction. So
This guy's a high priest?
yes.
Alright. He's the
Okay.
independent one.
Yes. I mean, the last thing I heard about this game was that it was stuck in transit. Like, they had to...
What's the name of that guy there, the new one that looks like he's made of Colgate toothpaste?
This one?
Yeah.
I believe that's Ithaqua.
Ithaqua. I dig it.
I think that's his name. Once again, sorry, I don't want to get yelled at like I did in the Dark Souls video for having, post-traumatic stress disorder because one of the bosses I'm forgetting his name. You're right, this is a very colorful game. Like, it kind of, you know what it reminds me of actually now? Monsters in My Pocket. Remember those little toys?
Yeah.
Like, they're all gross monsters, but, they're all brightly...
And they fit right in your pocket.
Yeah, I also had a very fun video game for the NES, which I don't know if it qualifies as good as Yo Noid, which I know is a favorite of yours. So, more as to be expected, very, very nice sculpts. We'll definitely get a lower view of these. All right, so that's another box down.
Monster in My Pocket. How does that compare to the old Mad Max toys? Not Mad
Mighty
Max.
Max?
Mighty Max.
They were bigger. The
Yeah.
Mighty Max, though, I think was better because you got the actual play set with it.
Yeah.
Like one was a shark, one was a spider. Couldn't have that one as a kid.
I had the big dragon one.
The dragon one was cool. I had Skull Mountain. That was one of my that was one of my gifts for in completing 3rd grade. Standards were really low in the Vanderbilt house.
Sure.
Sorry. Opener of the Way, one of the new expansions, which this is Yogg-Sothoth.
Okay.
I believe that was one of the ones.
That's this guy right here. This is the glow-in-the-dark version of it. It looks like.
So gross. Yogg. You got 4 mutants, 3 abominations, 2 spawn of Yogg-Sothoth. The Omega Edition. Speaking of which, I don't think I got the hardcover book yet. I'll have to check. Maybe that's coming later. I'll probably missed something. Wonderful artwork. Especially if you're a fan of gross and weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like me.
Which I am.
So, kind of cool. You get some fluff, as the people like to call it. And you even get some Q&As. Just in case, like, frequently asked questions about playing the faction. Kind of help make it a little more power cards. The regular plastic sculpt, it's actually grosser, I think, this way.
It's so much brighter. But it doesn't glow in the dark.
Yeah.
The glow in
So,
the dark one looks slimy.
It does.
God, it's like veins and...
Yeah, you can see the veins more on the hard plastic.
Ah, look at this thing.
Oh.
Why did I buy this? Why am I like this?
I like him.
Because he's lifting up. It's like he's lifting up his skin to show you a surprise.
One of my favorite Garbage Pail Kids is like that.
Yeah, there's a name I haven't heard. So actually, they're on the wall here at Greenfire. That's what really weirded me out when I first came in. Then, of course, you get your cultists and your forgot, you get the your most basic of monsters. I think these are the I forget what they're called. We'll look it up. Not as gross as your big guy, but those are tentacles, Shauna.
Those are intestines.
No.
It can be both.
It can be whatever you want.
The sleeper faction. This is Thagawa. Thagawa. You get wizards. Get some wizards in here. Serpent men. Formless spawn. And get your power and doom tokens. Wow. They did not hurt that. One exciting thing they added now, though, is they finally finished the 2-player rules. Because normally the game wouldn't play well with 2 players, and it'd be 3 minimum. They changed it now where you can actually do a 2-player variant. Which I'm looking very forward to trying out. Same as last time. Omega Edition rules. Card. Magic. Shauna, you're probably going to want to play as these guys because they're bright orange.
I do like orange.
Ugh. It's all hairy.
And again, a comparison to the glow-in-the-dark figure.
I think both are equally as gross. This one looks slimy, as stated.
You know what bothers me the most about that one?
What?
It's the nipples. It's got to be the nipples.
There's nipples. Ugh! Gross. This looks like something out of Ghost and Goblins.
That looks like Pizza the Hut.
I mean, by way of like nightmare fuel, maybe. Sure.
You're telling me Pizza the Hut's not already nightmare fuel?
I mean, it was kind of hard to be scared of him when I was already watching Spaceballs.
That's fair.
So much stuff.
Where's the viewing?
We're not getting cold. Maybe they're one or the other.
Oh, that's just disturbing. I think this is the wizard. And the serpent man actually looking kind of dignified.
Someone's got it.
I mean,
It's the uvula I find the most disturbing.
Yes.
Well, they definitely made the most out of this box. This is more than I thought. All right. Another faction, the Windwalker. This is Ithaqua, the one that looks like Colgate. Ah, the Wendigo, right. That's
Wendigo.
That's their kind of...
Oh no, I think I found my faction.
I hear these guys are good. I think you can freeze people.
I almost got murdered by a Wendigo once.
That's
Really?
terrifying.
Yeah.
They are terrifying.
That's spooky.
It was either that or it was a deer that jumped in front of the car.
I can never quite remember. I'm never quite sure. Okay. Second verse, same as first. But let's get to the minis. That's what we're all curious about here, right? Oh, God, it's gross. I know I've said that a lot.
It looks like dried toothpaste.
And the other one looks like wet.
Yeah.
What about this guy? Looks like he stole Cthulhu's head.
Is that the other guy that's over there?
Yeah.
Oh, this one comes with two glow-in-the-dark counterparts.
Interesting.
Does this one have different forms?
I don't know. This isn't even my final form. Now, Mike, here's the question. Did the thing that attacked you look like this?
No, that's going the Yeti route for a Wendigo as opposed to the one that looked like an emaciated deer person.
I mean,
Both acceptable versions
Yeah.
of the Wendigo. This is actually my preferred Wendigo. Is the one that looks like a Yeti.
what the heck is this?
Is it an owl bear?
I don't know.
Oh, this is totally my faction of choice.
They're so creepy looking. Oh, that's right. You get to place down glaciers. Big spoopy glaciers. Man, this game's... this is going to get weirder and weirder. Alright. Scooting back. And the final faction, this is actually the new one, the Chocho.
Oh, Chocho.
The Shosho. This is the new one they released. They're supposed to be a real weird one. They worship Ubosatla, which is actually the pink one here, which doesn't really look like the glow-in-the-dark variant, but... No, yeah, fine. I'm not going to give in to plastic wrap. The plastic wrap can kill a man, so probably a good idea. And don't worry, I will clean up the mess. Now the question is, how am I going to get this stuff home? Just a big box of miniatures. The Shosho. Shusha. Shusha. I believe,
The late 80s children's idol?
Exactly. Alright. You get two. Oh, you get the cardboard one too. That's interesting. You get tokens for brains in jars.
Gross. Brains in jars.
Yeah, I don't know what these guys. You get proto Shoggoths, apparently. Oh, you know what? I wonder if they didn't get enough to get the, actually,
It is different looking.
yeah, it
It's a
is.
different color.
You know, this reminds me of This reminds me of the pink.
Test.
This reminds me of the pink ooze from Ghostbusters 2, which I'm a defender of. Well, this is just gross looking.
Pink doesn't.
Eye on stalk. I found an eye on a stalk.
Nice.
Man, you get a lot of these little guys.
It's gonna test
Mike is going off screen to test out the glow in the dark, like a weirdo.
You only have one dark area.
It's true. It's a very well-lit store, despite being a game store.
It does in fact glow in the dark. It looks a little different though,
Oh,
because it's opaque and not translucent.
I mean that's still pretty cool. I mean I don't know when I'm going to be playing this game in pitch black, but hey, those are ones to put on the shelf.
So here's my question. I'm going to go test these two to see how they look different from each other.
Sorry, people, we can't film the glow in the dark test. That's the deal.
It's an issue with about cameras and now.
Hey, yeah, some people are against it. I don't know what the deal is. More gross miniatures. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Not bad.
Okay, so
These are enemies.
they're
These
all
are
the same
the.
color,
Okay.
regardless of what color the actual figure is.
Gotcha.
Because they've been in a box so long, they haven't charged up.
Okay.
You know how you need to let them.
Yeah. I had glow in the dark figures as a child. Your tokens and all that, so that is the last faction. So now if we get the 8-player map, we can do a full-blown 8-player game of Cthulhu Wars. Is there anything I missed?
Nope, we got everything.
Okay, I might have to check on their website then about the hardcover rulebook. Maybe I didn't contribute enough for that. I can't remember.
So let's change
Yeah.
the camera view, and then we can get some close-up looks of these models,
'Cause-
and maybe we'll take a look at talk about what the faction does as we're looking at its models.
Yeah, because I haven't had a chance to really. I kind of forgot the game was on its way. What's up? No, okay. No big deal.
All right, so we're just gonna move this. This over here.
Man, that is a lot. I'm taking it in right now, and that's a lot of figures. I'm like worried I missed something. What's up?
ready. The chochos are ready.
This looks like a commercial for Monsters in My Pocket. Like this is like you need fog and you need to zoom into the back. Collect all of them in stores now. If your parents say no, sacrifice them to the elder gods.
All right, so which faction do we want to look at first? I
Well-
mean, these ones are right here.
Yeah, this is the Chocho. Shoo.
All right, so let's look at Chocho.
Alright, so let's see what we got here. And keep in mind, this is an asymmetrical game, so each faction has a very different play style. Cthulhu was more straightforward. Hester was more. Hester, King in Yellow, was more creep around and defile areas by desecrating them, otherwise known as defecating in some cases.
We're very mature.
Oh yeah, we were very. H.P. Lovecraft would be rolling over in his grave if he heard us play this game.
People all over his grave just cause.
Can't believe these idiots are playing this game. They probably never even read one of my books. I did.
You read one.
I mean, they're hard to get through sometimes, man.
I like The Vault short story he did, real good.
I really like the Reanimator arcs. Like, I thought those were actually really well done. And I'm really upset, though. You know, Herbert West was going to be one of the unlockable figures if they made their stretch goal.
Oh.
It wasn't going to be Jeffrey Combs' Herbert West, though. So that's why I wasn't too upset.
So you have extra ones with.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they want you to...
But I love Jeffrey Combs.
These are the dudes, right?
Yep. All right, so that is the Chocho faction. So you get your card here. So let's take a look here. Setup, because every character has a specific setup. Because Cthulhu starts in water, I believe. Everyone starts in a very particular area.
Okay.
So let's see. Setup. After all players have set up except Opener and Windwalker, 8 power, 6 acolytes, and a controlled gate in an empty area containing a faction glyph. So you actually get to set up anywhere on the map. That has you don't have to stick to just your faction. And if the High Priest expansion is in use, replace 1 acolyte with a High Priest. Oh, because you got to pay more. Because this game is about resource management as well. The more areas you take over, and the more magic you basically gain, the more you can summon, the more you can do in a turn.
Alright, so these are their acolytes, correct?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
A nice close shot of one of these guys. Let me pull focus here. There we go. So it looks like this guy, it's a portly bald fella. He's got some tools, he's wearing a robe, and he's holding a skull above his head. And he's got like a kind of an angry face.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with this, but I guess, let's see. We can go into the spell books later after we kind of play the game. We can do a full review.
Yeah.
But of course, let's get to the actual, the big thing about each faction.
Is this the High Priest for this
That
faction?
is going to be the High Priest.
All right. He has this real great, like, oh, why me kind of a look.
I mean, I would feel that way if I somehow ended up as a priest in a Cthulhu mythos story.
I love the detail on these. And then these are... I haven't played the game, so you're going to...
Proto-Shoggoths.
Proto-Shoggoth. And what is a Proto-Shoggoth?
See, that's the thing. As much as I love Cthulhu mythos, I have to bone up more on my...
So what are the big figures that aren't the monster? What do they do in the game?
They're typically better. That one looks like it's going to be very... you get terror, basically. That's their ability. And what terror is, it's one of the abilities you gain. Terror, it's in battle. Your enemy's combat total is reduced by 1 per Proto-Shoggoth in battle. So that's why if you have multiples, you can essentially have someone... You go to be going against someone who's very combat heavy, like Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Or Shub, and you can actually... Oh yeah, this is really nasty. So basically, for every Proto-Shoggoth in battle, your enemy's combat total is reduced by 1, and your combat total is increased by 1.
Okay.
So it debuffs the enemy and buffs you. And basically, combat total is how many dice you get to roll.
Okay.
So you can either... So that's a really nasty ability. And then that is going to be Ubo Stafla. So, equal to growth counter.
The detail on these things. Is
So yeah,
outstanding.
they're high quality.
I mean, they really are. You say gross, they're gross.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding.
And then here's the gate.
Yeah, I gotta look up the new rules for the special gates. I just think they look neat.
They do look neat. Is it the same symbol in the center of all of them?
Yeah. Now, Ubo Safla seems to have a... Oh, I forgot on the back. They actually have story about your faction. On the back of each faction card. So, sorry. I totally got so sidetracked by this. But basically, you get kind of a nice, like, old-school sort of... a dossier of sorts regarding a incident involving that particular Eldritch Abomination. And I think those dice, actually, are what are coming to play for the... Shocho faction, because Ubosafla's special ability is called Hell's Banquet, and once Ubosafla has been awakened, starting with the following Doom phase, and whether or not Ubosafla is in play, roll 1d6 and increase its growth counter by the die roll. So I think those dice might have to do with the growth counter.
Okay.
We'll double check on the rules, of course, when we actually sit down to play. I'm glad they gave you those little packets that have the details on them. So these guys definitely seem like an interesting... I'm not too sure what the deal is with the brains in the jar. Man, that is... So yeah, I don't know who I want to play as now.
Well, let's jump to the next
Yeah,
faction.
well,
Check out the models.
let's go into yours, because I know you seem to want to play the Windwalker
I
faction.
mean, they're kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you pick. I don't know why I chose King in Yellow. I think because I just...
I like the idea of the king.
Yeah, and it's just fun to annoy people.
Oh, and this is the pink turd?
Yes, the pink turd. It's your turn marker, or your magic marker, actually.
Alright.
Alright, so, I'm going to move on to the Windwalker faction. I believe one of the more combat-heavy factions from what I remember reading. So you had Wendigos. I'm pretty sure those are the Wendigos. If I am, I'm no expert on Wendigos, but I'm fairly certain that's one of them. Get your... Did I not get a high...
It's the high priest.
Did I not get a high priest for the,
I thought you
Show
said
shows?
this guy was the high priest for them.
Oh, that's an actual unit. Okay, my mistake. They must have designed these guys and then made the expansion afterwards.
Gotcha.
They added a lot to this game.
Um,
And oh yeah, you got more. Hey.
All right, so it looks like we have the acolyte there.
Let's
Holding a
see,
book, looking
Michelle,
menacing.
can you see underneath there if the Windwalker faction card is in there? Should be the blue. Cthulhu Wars. I got my Kickstarter box in yesterday. This is the Windwalker faction. Let's take a look at what we got here. You got your acolytes, magic cards, of course. Look at those. Yep, these are the Wendigos. They have a spellbook called Cannibalism. Seems fitting, right?
See the Wendigo here?
Yeah.
That is, I mean, he looks like he's having a rough day.
He's mad. He looks like an angry. He looks like a shaved Chewbacca that's really pissed.
Well, because when they shaved him, they took away the skin from his midsection.
I guess I would be
And
kind of
his
mad
ribs
about
and
that.
intestines
I would
are exposed.
have issues with that as another hairy man. Someone went to help me out and then ended up just like shaving skin off.
Yeah.
I'd be very upset.
And then we've got these guys who just, they look real
Those are
pleasant.
the Noth-Ke.
I love the sculpt on this guy. Because, like, okay, so his arms extend almost down to where his feet would go.
You know what he kind of
And
reminds
his
me of?
pinky is longer than his other
He reminds me of
fingers.
something you'd come up with for Lockjaw.
Yeah, that does
Like
look
one of the Wobble Guys faction.
That does look like something that I would draw, just done better.
All right, and then now these guys have two great old ones. Got Ron Tagoth
There's
and
a hermit crab looking guy.
Ithaqua.
Oh, there's his face.
And these guys sound really scary from what I'm reading here.
I need to raise the camera a little bit for a Ithaqua. And it is, I mean, this is a massive figure. And, I mean, I said before, the glow-in-the-dark one looked like Colgate toothpaste.
Oh, right. Forgot, we had glow-in-the-dark variations on all these. For all your glow-in-the-dark board game playing needs.
We have the High Priest, who has this, like,
What are you talking about?
I mean, he this is what he's talking about. Or, you know, he does look like he'd be saying, "Behold!"
Behold, Ithaqua. Quetzalcoatl. Of course, these guys all had interesting battles with their powers. I don't want to go too deep into the powers because, of course, I think we're going to know more when we actually play them. Let's focus on the real fun here, the miniatures.
Yes. All right, now, speaking of miniatures, push those ones out of the way, and let's get to the next group.
Yep, we still got 2 more factions to go through, everybody. We're getting there. We're getting there. And now we play the game.
Purple or orange?
Okay, purple or orange? You guys pick. Orange. Orange.
Because it has really interesting sculpts there.
Yes,
on
it
their
does.
High
They're
Priest.
all gross, and this one with the uvula. What are you talking about? The serpent men. I'm surprised you only get one.
All right, so these are their normal acolytes.
Oh no, you don't. We have more here. Sorry.
And they look much like the acolytes for the last faction, where they're looking in a book.
That's a very common sculpt. That's pretty much how all your standard acolytes are going to
Because
look.
the pink ones are a little different.
Because the pink ones were the most recent faction they made. These guys were all out. They were just before they did the second printing. Nigh impossible to find without having to spend like an arm and a leg.
Here's your High Priest, the same sculpt as the last one. But here, we've got something real interesting.
That is what is known as a wizard.
So the wizard has these big leathery wings, a big old tail. He looks like a normal, nice guy, except for the fact he's lifting up his skirt and there's a big toothy maw.
I think I watched a movie about that once.
I don't doubt that. You also have.
I don't know how to
some
take
back
that
behind the
statement.
wings.
I really don't know how to take that.
That's disgusting. This is the guy I said looks like Pizza the Hut. Let's get a better look at
That
it.
is known as the formless spawn, which is very apt in terms
You
of
know
description.
what? When I look at this, I do think formless spawn.
But-
So good on their marketing team.
My favorite sculpt so far from this, though, is the Serpent Man. I like it because he looks like he's going, excellent. Yes, my friend. Soon we will discover the secrets. Man, I can only imagine what it was like to say the name of the great old one with a lisp.
You know, here's the problem. Is I'm sure I'd like this game, but it would devolve into me speaking in funny voices most of the time.
But that's how most of the games I've played of this have devolved into.
This is the one that I said the most disturbing part is. The nipples.
Safagawa. Safagawa. I think I'm getting that right.
He's got multiple arms.
Some angry Lovecraft fan is going to message me,
He's
or he's going to
all
send me like an
hairy.
image of a squid getting gutted.
Back ridges. This guy's got some problems.
This is actually really funny. One of his abilities is called lethargy.
Yeah?
It costs 0 magic to do. If the Sagawa is in play, do nothing. This counts as an action. So I guess it's kind of like a skip. That's kind of funny. But he can also teleport. You pay 8 power. You place when you summon him, or he doesn't teleport. But when you summon him, you actually can put him anywhere a formless spawn is. So basically, this guy is like a beacon. You know, you could be fighting like these nerds. And then suddenly this guy just kind of drops down. And this guy really is going like, what do you mean? So, Shauna, are you going to play as these guys because they're orange?
I might. I really like Shub though.
Ah, Shubby. That's what the fans like to call her. All right. So we're on our final. I still don't know who this is for, though.
That might be the create your own faction one.
It could be,
'Cause it's the
or
same
it could
color.
be the. They actually did have first player markers.
All right.
They had one that was a bust of H.P. Lovecraft, but I don't know how comfortable people would be carrying around a bust of a.
Of H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, there was some controversy about him, I hear. But that, or maybe it is the create your own faction, because the colors are kind of similar. That's
It's
neat.
just rats.
The Windwalker faction can actually put down ice, I believe,
Oh.
like glaciers. As I said,
Bring that one closer to the camera.
all right. I mean, this one is pretty
Closer.
cool.
Is it- What's your point of focus?
Making your own sound effects
He's
is
got a big old nasty mouth. And he's got one there too.
it's a very gross
Hope
game.
that's a mouth.
It's a JJ.
No.
Oh, you took
I said it in a stupid like high school way. And now we move on to the final faction that I have in this wondrous box of mystery. The Opener of the Way faction, which has Yog Sothoth, one of the heavy hitters. Not that there aren't many in the Cthulhu mythos.
God, he just looks infected.
He's pretty gross. I think we've said that about all these miniatures, though.
Is this your standard acolyte for the little tiny guy?
No, that's a mutant.
It's a mutant.
I believe your acolytes should just look like. Oh, we didn't open them yet. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We got really excited, people.
Yeah, standard acolyte.
This is a lot to take in.
And then there's these guys, which are the mutants.
Mutants, yeah, you get mutants, not your normal mutants like the X-Men. These are the kind of mutants who probably spit acid and melt your face off and stuff.
These are like Omega Man mutants.
You die, I think, even worse than that. I think those are actually scarier than anything you've seen in those, like a
about this
Richard
guy?
Matheson novel.
He's going.
And that
He's got
one,
eyes on his knees.
that one is called an abomination.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Eyes on his knees.
But this is the one that really stole the show for me. The spawn of Yog Sothoth.
Oh, God.
I mean, you can see a family resemblance, right?
It's like somebody just took a bad idea and melted it.
But it's so awesome looking.
Oh, and it's got a butt.
Double butt.
It's two
It's
butts.
got 2 butts.
Looks like there's something coming out of one and going into the other. It's
Wasn't there a Cards Against Humanity card that was like
let's not go into that.
It was perpetually pooping into a bucket over and over again or something. It's something gross. I think fun game at home for anyone who's going to watch this again for some particular reason. Take a drink every time I say the word gross. You'll probably die of alcohol poisoning. I'm sorry. I shouldn't suggest that. So yeah, that's wow, that was a lot.
Those are all the new stuff. All of the other ones, their factions are in the core box.
Yes, in the box you get Great Cthulhu, of course. You get the I forget the name of their faction, but it's Nihar Lethatep.
Well, is there a glow-in-the-dark Cthulhu?
You know what? That might have been one of the special ones I didn't get.
Got it.
Because, everyone loves Cthulhu. I don't, personally. I think he's kind of overblown. Yes. You also get King in Yellow, and you get Shove.
Okay.
So the core game was really fun whenever we played it. I think we usually play with a total of 3 people.
Yeah.
And they have special maps. I forgot to bring the one map in I already own, because there's one that takes place in space. Like you're on another planet, and there's like a pyramid made out of goo.
I mean, we've got space maps.
No, this one was very particular, because it had neutral figures that would attack you. So yeah, that's Cthulhu Wars. I mean, I think after we get a few games in, we should live stream a match.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
And I
we
think-
could also do a learn to play video potentially.
Yeah, because I outside of the new factions, the game's actually. I mean, that's only because I don't know these guys yet. The game's actually pretty quick and easy to play once you get going. So yeah, I look forward to that in the future. I know now I have to figure out a way to transport this stuff, and
Got 8 bucks.
yeah, I mean, good thing they gave me that giant box. So bye everybody.
Thanks for watching.